No, now I am. Next year.
Don't be. It's just another day of high school.
Welcome to the 15th annual induction ceremonies for the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame. We are very glad that you're here this evening. We have a great program and we have a great group of inductees that we're really pleased to introduce to you tonight, and I'm sure you will agree with us. My name is Bob McKeveny. I'm a member of the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame Committee. Tony Farrar and I will serve as your MCs tonight to present this year's inductees. To begin things, I'd ask you to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
On that long time. Yeah, do you remember the words?
To get things started tonight, I would like to introduce our Hall of Fame committee members. And for a little change of pace this year, I'm going to ask the committee members to come down in front of the stage just so that you can see who they are. This is a group that works throughout the year, monthly. Every month we get together and we work towards that next induction. So when I call your name, please come down in front of the stage. Tony Ferrara, Rod Verkey, Ted Novak, Liz Beck, Lisa Anderson, Mike Ferrara, Bob Sullivan, John Nicholson, Jeff Manning, and Bob McKeveny.
By age, right?
Sometimes you don't respond.
No age, you went chronological order.
So please give this group a round of applause for their efforts. I am going to ask this group to stay there for a minute for a couple of presentations that we're going to make. While we're waiting for Mr. Ferrara, I think I'm going to jump right up to the introduction and introduce Dr. Michelle Reed, our current superintendent of schools, to give a brief welcome to all of you tonight.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. It's my honor to officially welcome you to the annual Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I want to extend a special congratulations to our inductees and thank you on behalf of the Seneca Falls Central School District for the contributions you have made to not only sports, but our school community as well. Our inductees being recognized this evening represent a variety of sports. Several have played on multiple teams during their time at Mynderse Academy. However, we know it's more than sports where tonight's inductees have made their impact. To this day, my favorite part of being an educator was as a tennis coach and role model for young men and women for over a decade. And today, they still call me coach wherever they see me. The relationships and connections that you make and forge through sports are invaluable and extend far beyond the walls of gymnasiums, turfs, or sports fields. So inductees, I congratulate you again and thank you all for the contributions you made to this wonderful community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Strong supporter of the athletic program at Mynderse currently, and recognition of all past achievements.
We were looking for you.
He's here. So after about an hour's worth of work at our meetings, the meetings take a left turn and kind of sound like this. So for our first special presentation, let me introduce Tony Ferrara.
Good evening. You folks can sit down. I'll let you sit down for a minute, okay? Please. Don't worry about me. I'll figure it out as soon as I fix my mistakes. At any rate, as many of you can probably figure out, this committee has a lot of help. The Hall of Fame group has people that you don't even know about that are not present on any programs or whatever. They do work in the athletic office, they do work in the business office, they do work in the cafeteria, the food service or whatever. But one of the fine people that work for us and do an awful lot for this Hall of Fame is going to retire from the school district at the end of this month. And it's my pleasure to call Patty Ward down here to accept our thank yous, gratitude, appreciation for all of her dedicated efforts. Patty, I know you're blushing and I can't wait for you to come down here. Is it a little louder? I'm sorry. I just want to see if anybody was asleep. In 2009, the Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame was born. And it was born because of the leadership, the incentive, the initiation, the dedication, basically of one person. This gentleman has been on our committee since its inception. He has guided us through many words of wisdom, many opportunities to figure out just what a Hall of Fame is all about, how to work it. He's had some experience as he's in the Hall of Fame at SUNY Cortland. He's in the Hall of Fame at Lyon Central School District, where he was a successful educator first, coach second, and an ally of all of his student athletes. He's one of the most well-respected individuals in the state of New York in the way of athletics and, more importantly, of his family. I know when he asked me to help and join this committee 15 years ago, I said, yes, as long as you stay on the committee, I'll stay on the committee. But at this time, I would like everyone to recognize and acknowledge and congratulate Mr. Rod Verkey.
Thanks, Tony. That was very nice. Can you hear me with this thing? As you know, this is one of the things in my life that is near and dear to me, and if it wasn't for all of you good people, we wouldn't have started it and continued it. It is something that I've always had in mind, and I started the one in Lyons 30 years ago, and so glad that I did. Otherwise, we wouldn't have nights like this. I've always said that there's a need for good people to be in education and in coaching. I mean, this is the basis of everything that we do and the future of our kids. So I have 3 of my sons here tonight, and I'm so proud to be with them, and they all come from good families, or have good families. I'm the family. I just want to thank you, and I was totally unexpected in this role of talking tonight. My good friend Norm Law was my coach at Mynderse in 34? We've gone on to be good friends for a very long time. So congratulations to all the inductees, and good luck to you in the future.
Technology is involved in a lot of the things that we do, thanks to the expertise of Ted Novak. And one of the first videos that we would like to, and we always try to go through, is to remember those Hall of Fame members that have moved on to a different playing field. So if you'll bear with us and watch, I think you'll really get emotional, because I do every time I see it.
And athletic director and all that stuff that goes with coaching. This is the nicest part I've ever took. It's classy. You guys got classes, like awesome. You know, it's just, I fill up a room and I look out there and I'm saying, well, I gotta go out and talk in front of all these people who they don't have helmets and shoulder pads. It's really kind of tough. But I love growing up Sutter Falls, and I just can't, it was great. You know, it's good. Just
last was when I broke the school record in the shot put and held that record until the young man out here in the audience, Sean, broke the record in 2009. And I'll tell you what, that is the greatest thing that I can say tonight. And I hope that he holds the record either as long as I did or even longer. And I want to thank everybody again tonight. I've had a terrific weekend and my bucket list is full now.
Out of respect, while the screen is going up, I would just like a moment of silence, please, in remembrance of all the former Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame members that are no longer with us. Thank you. As Bob had said, as Dr. Reed said, and Rod said, this Hall of Fame is a tradition and it's a legacy. For Seneca Falls, as a community, and specifically Mynderse Academy as a school. The number of student athletes and students distinguished that have come out of Mynderse Academy over the years are insurmountable. We've had many, many great men and women be very successful in a lot of different avenues. And I know that athletics helped, the self-discipline, and to put student athletes in a position to be successful in all their post-secondary endeavors. We've come a long way. The nominations are still open, so if you know of anyone, it's online on the Seneca Falls website, Seneca Falls School District website. Go to athletics, go to Hall of Fame. There's a nomination form. We certainly encourage anybody and everybody to do that, because we know there are some people out there that, we may not know of. We are lucky, and once our construction project is done, we're going to have a display, a touchscreen display at the middle school entrance, the new athletic entrance, basically, in the middle school, which I think will be done next August, which we're looking forward to. There is a touchscreen at downtown in the Fall Street Brewing Company, so thank you to Brad Ellis and Anna Luisi for allowing us to put one there. And we all would like you to share the great news, and hopefully you continue to be proud of the school that you went to. I know there are people here from Ohio, from Pittsburgh, from all over the whole United States, and as a whole, just believe that Mynderse Academy is one of those places that we all cherish. So I welcome you all again tonight, and thank you very much for being here. I would like to, and I'm not going to call off names because I know I'll forget them, but I would like all Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame members to please stand at this time to be recognized. Because if I call names, I'll...
That's it.
Athletics in the United States obviously have a tremendous amount of history, solely belonging to males, because up until 1972-73, for whatever reason in this country, women's sports were not recognized by athletic associations. What a waste. What a shame. So this Hall of Fame, again, thanks to the leadership of Rod and all the committee members, we felt it was very necessary that all of those pre-Title IX student athletes be part of this Hall of Fame. Excuse me. And at this time, we have a inductee tonight who has achieved many good things, not only in high school, but in post-secondary. She came here from Florida to be here tonight. She was the MVP of the 1973 girls soccer team. She coached at St. Patrick's in girls basketball, MA girls basketball, first girls team to make the sectional tournament. Now you say, how can she be pre-Title IX and still be participant? Well, she was on the cusp. She graduated in 1973, so first few years were pre-Title IX, and her last year was as a quote-unquote legal student athlete in the eyes of the state of New York. Organized, administered, and played in a variety of softball, pickleball leagues and teams, and still does. A true lifelong athlete, and someone that has recognized the value of athletics at Mynderse Academy and all other places that she lived. It is my pleasure, and congratulations to this year's recipient, Liz Sinacropi.
Wow, a Hall of Fame induction. I have to be honest, when I first heard about it, I thought, are you sure you got the right person? I really don't think I deserve this. But after the committee kept emailing me multiple times, I figured I'd either say yes or unsubscribe. So thank you to the Hall of Fame Committee for your persistence, your belief in me, and your refusal to take no for an answer. You wore me down in the most flattering way possible. I am truly honored, humbled, and grateful. Next, I want to thank my high school gym teacher, Angie Bonabonas. She was one of the first people to support me in athletics. Angie always expected more from me. She saw something in me, and I'll never forget that. A big thank you goes out to Deco Paradise, the man who gave me my first 2 coaching jobs. Now, either Deco saw great potential in me, or he was just really desperate. Either way, I said yes, and I will always appreciate the faith he had in me, the opportunity he gave me, and the early headaches that came with coaching. I also have to give credit where it all started, the guys from my old neighborhood, especially my brother Ralph, John and Ben Leone, Fred and Frank Capozzi. Thank you for letting me join your pickup games as a kid. You might not have known it at the time, but letting me run around with you and playing games in the Leone's backyard helped me find my passion for sports. Now a special shout out goes to my great nephew, Harrison Sinacropi. Harrison, watching you dive headfirst into athletics and give it your all truly inspires me. You make me want to stay active and try to keep up. Finally, thank you all again. To be recognized by Mynderse is incredibly meaningful. I am grateful to all of you who helped me along the way, cheered me on, and occasionally yelled at me from the sidelines. Thank you very much.
one of the great highlights of each year's inductions are the videos that we're able to show. We have another video that we're going to show you at this point, kind of recapping our previous inductions. think it was said earlier, tradition and legacy. You just saw that 15 years in a few minutes. Those inductees tonight, you are now part of that tradition and part of that legacy. And if you come back in future years, you're going to see yourself in a video. We would like to thank our donors. You'll notice them in your program. Please take a moment at some point to look at that. Some donations were received after the program was printed, and we'd like to recognize and thank the following: John and Diana Panucci, Carlo and Patty Lorenzetti, Sunakropi Florist, Rod and Char Verke, Seneca Meadows SMI, Alan and Doreen Brown, Jan Carasillo, and Gary Bullis. Thank you all for your donations. They certainly help. We have a few others that we'd like to thank for helping make tonight's and this weekend's events possible: the Seneca Falls Central School District, the Northeast College of Health Sciences, Finger Lakes One, Seneca Falls Country Club, Fall Street Brewing, MP Graphics, and Wilson Press. These donors and contributors make our annual event and the recognition of inductees special. Please help us in thanking all of them, and the committee invites you to consider making a donation to keep our tradition and legacy alive for future inductees. Now on to continue with our inductees. We also, as you noticed in the video, recognize lifetime contributors, and we're thrilled to recognize two of them this evening. Gino Giovannini and Louis Chipper Vergamini were members of the Mynderse Academy, class of 1941. They made quite an impact in this community. That dynamic duo coached several St. Pat's athletic teams. They had successful football, basketball, and baseball teams. Many Mynderse athletes and Hall of Famers were coached by these two lifetime contributors. They truly made St. Pat's athletics special and successful. They also served as precursors to future Mynderse Academy athletic team and individual student athlete success. It is worth noting some of the players that benefited from their contributions: Bruno Lombardo, Eugene Nicandri, Gerald Roseri, William Corey, James Urquhart, Robert Bransford, Thomas Adana, Dermot McDermott, Francis Brady, Joe McNaney, Bob Giovannini, Pete Saraceno, Joe Pioni, Les Van Cleef, Mario Spano, George Vergamini, as well as many others. So tonight we would like to recognize them, and accepting on their behalf will be Chipper's daughter, Michelle Payne, and Gino's son, Gene Giovannini. Please come forward.
I want to thank everyone on the committee and all of these dedicated individuals for recognizing my dad and what his accomplishments were along the way, along with your dad, and making sure that they were recognized for that. Thank you so very much. I know my father's looking down from heaven right now, and he's very, very happy.
My sisters, Adele, Margaret, Nancy, Mary Jo, and I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee and all who have made this event possible and well-deserved recognition possible. Upon graduation from MA, as you heard, in which my father had an exceptional athletic career of his own, our father, along with Chipper, And with the blessing of Thomas Kane, Father Thomas Kane, initiated the athletic program at St. Pat's, and it wouldn't have been possible without Father Kane's support. This program provided many athletes a firm foundation to excel at Mynderse Academy in the late 40s and 50s, resulting in numerous awards and team championships, and many of those that you saw in the program this evening. This program provided many athletes that foundation. Once graduated from Mynderse Academy, many of these athletes went on to have very successful playing and coaching careers at the collegiate and at the professional levels, as well as becoming admired productive citizens, husbands, and fathers. Some of these former athletes and coaches, as you've heard, are inducted into this very Hall of Fame. Perhaps most rewarding to our father's legacies is that these inductees acknowledged our father in their Hall of Fame acceptance speeches as playing an instrumental role in their lives growing up. I would like to close though with our father could not have given of himself without the sacrifices of our mother. Young mother, the children, as you can imagine. Our mother was the former Domenica Carasillo, a last name not too unfamiliar to this Hall of Fame. Our mother was the much older sister of Frank, Vince, Kartz, Gene, and Bob Carasillo, all of whom are members of this Hall of Fame. And that's a feat that would not have been accomplished without our mother's rearing, nurturing, and yes, feeding of my uncles. Thank you.
Our next inductee this evening was an excellent student athlete in his own days, but has gained and had gained much notoriety for his outstanding coaching abilities. This gentleman graced Mynderse Academy twice in his career, which we are very fortunate for. I had the opportunity and the pleasure to play for him, along with many of the others that are here this evening. He began his teaching career and coaching career in 1960 here by coaching varsity baseball, junior high basketball. He left the district and then came back and got smart. Won 2 Wayne Finger Lakes League champions, made an impact with all those that benefited from his teaching and coaching. He was the Finger Lakes Basketball Coach of the Year, went on to coach 17 seasons at SUNY Plattsburgh, winning 3 SUNY Conference championships and a 4th place finish in the NCAA Division III tournament. He was the SUNY Coach of the Year in 1978-79, and then moved on to Division I at the University of Pittsburgh as an assistant for 8 years, where they had 2 Big East championships, 4 NIT appearances. He's been inducted in the SUNY Brockport and SUNY Plattsburgh Hall of Fames, and is also in the New York State Upstate Basketball Coaching Hall of Fame. It is my pleasure to now induct and welcome and congratulate Coach Norm Law. That's got to take a picture for us.
What? Is this on?
It is on.
I was hoping it was. I just want to thank the committee for selecting me for induction to Mynderse Hall of Fame Athletics. I want to congratulate everyone here who is in the Hall of Fame or is going to be inducted tonight. It's a great honor. Mynderse Academy is a special place for me. I graduated from Brockport in 1960, came directly here, coached junior high basketball and varsity baseball. I left for 3 years, came back, and coached varsity basketball. It's a special community. The reason I say that, I can't express the amount of support I received from the administration, the community, the parents, and the players in my 3 years here. I've coached a number of places. I've coached a number of athletes. But I would say the athletes I had here gave me the most support with no problems. Nowadays, it's so difficult to coach with the parents and the players' attitudes. I didn't have one attitude, and I'm extremely happy for that. The athletes were strictly committed to playing hard, playing together, teamwork, and winning. And they did. That's what they did. They won. And I was so happy. I think they taught me more than I taught them at my age, at that time. I would like now for any athlete in this room who played for me to stand. And I'm going to stand up, Brad. I'm going to say one thing about these gentlemen. They deserve this award as much as I do. They were unbelievable. And I am so happy to have been a part of their athletic career. Thank you, fellows. Now, I did have one incident before I started coaching in Seneca Falls. When I came back, I moved in down on Troy Street, bought a house. I was in the yard working, cleaning up, and this gentleman came walking up the street, and I waved to him, being, polite. And he said, "Hey, Coach, glad to have you back, but I want to give you a warning." No, I know there's pressure in coaching, but it's not going to come from somebody on the street. But he said, "I wouldn't hang up any pictures in your house. I wouldn't hang up any shades, any blinds, until you beat Waterloo." And we never lost to him. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee is Gene Giovannini. Gene was a proud member of the Mynderse Academy class of 1975, from the era when you didn't just play 3 sports, you excelled at 3 sports. He was a 3-sport standout student athlete. He led by example. He was the co-captain of the varsity basketball team in the 1974-75 season. He led the team to the first Section 5 Class AA championship. He was selected for the All-Tournament team, the All-League team, and the All-Greater Rochester recognition. You don't see those very often. Also played varsity football, 1974, was a 2-way starter, led the team to a 7-1 record. Played varsity baseball, 1975, led the team to the first ever Section 5 championship. We see a theme here. led the team and runs coached in, but we will let him tell that story. After college, he taught and coached at Mynderse Academy. He also led him to a 40-year career in higher education, president and chancellor of 2 large universities. Congratulations and welcome back up to the stage, Gene Giovannini, now a member of the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame.
I'm very grateful for the opportunity to join tonight's Informers inductees into the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame. There are many people that can take credit for my being before you this evening. I was delighted to learn that 2 of those individuals would also be inducted to the Hall of Fame tonight. Teammate Joe Purcelli was likely the best pure shooter and scorer Mynderse Academy has ever produced. I benefited from this because Joe drew the opposing team's best defender every game. So I received plenty of opportunity to get more shots, to score more points. Thank you, Joe, and all my former teammates. When I was in elementary school, my Uncle Vince would take me to the Mynderse Academy basketball games in the 60s. And it was because of his friendship with Coach Law that I was able to be the ball boy for many of those games. Coach Law laid the foundation for Mynderse Academy to be a dominant basketball high school. His commitment to Mynderse Academy basketball and the youth of Seneca Falls continued well after he left. He recruited Mynderse Academy players onto his college teams. For years, he offered a summer camp here on these grounds of the former Eisenhower College, often making it possible for me, for kids, many kids, who did not have the means to attend the camp, and he saw to it they were able to attend the camp. I and dozens of Seneca Falls kids benefited immensely, as he would be sure to give us special instruction and pointed encouragement. He humorously wrote us hard. Personally, he would come to my camp games and yell to my opposing defender, "Make him go left, make him go left," so making me a much better player, of course. For 4 years in high school, the sole voice I heard was that of Hall of Fame coach John Nicholson. Many times I heard, "Geez, oh man, Gene. Geez, oh man, Gene." And I would go to bed with that in my head. And if you know John, you know that's about as vulgar as he would get. And therefore you knew you were in trouble when he said that. Really, words could not do justice to the impact Coach Nicholson had on me as a student, athlete, and man. For all your former players, John, thank you for solidifying Mynderse Academy as a basketball powerhouse since. I was fortunate to be an athlete among the class of 1975. John coached us, as you heard, to basketball and baseball league championships. The sole occurrence in my Mynderse Academy athletic history where basketball and baseball both won league and sectional titles. I was injured my senior year. John had faith in me and allowed me to coach third base. So that's where I led the league in runs coached in. Thank you, John. I don't let that down. Lastly, in a recent discussion I had with Pete Herman, some of you know, former Mynderse Academy teacher and head coach at the Naval Academy at the University of Georgia, he referenced to me how his time in and exposure to Seneca Falls influenced his coaching recruiting strategy. A strategy focused on recruiting from good families, good people from good families. I was very fortunate, thinking back of the people that influenced me greatly, certainly my family, my father, obviously as a coach, but people like Joe Barbie, Jesse Peretti taught me the fundamentals of football. John Liberatore and Dick Medora taught me the fundamentals of baseball. Fine, fine people. And I'm also very grateful to some of the older players, some of you are here this evening, who allowed me to play with them, taught me and encouraged me, and beat me up quite a bit too, to make me a better ball player. People like Joe Pagano, Pete Rosenkrantz, John Wood, Bobby Nearpass, Vinnie Giglio, and there are many others. And I would not have become, I believe, as successful in participating in sports at Mynderse if it wasn't for the opportunities to play ball with those guys very often. From day one to today, I have been blessed with a supportive and loving immediate and extended family. Quite a few of them are here this evening. Any recognition I receive is a testament to them, and I am grateful. But specifically for my most immediate family, my mother and father, many sacrifices they made, turned our driveway into a basketball court. Aesthetically, it may not look great, and certainly financially, it probably cost a little bit. But perhaps the biggest influence to me becoming an athlete was the motivation I received. I had 4 sisters growing up. And that motivation to get out of the house every day and play ball is the reason I'm here this evening. So thank you all.
In keeping with that era in the mid-70s, our next inductee graduated in 1976, is a proud recipient of 10 varsity letters as a 3-sport athlete in cross country, basketball, track, and field. His favorite sport was basketball. He was part of a team that had 2 consecutive Finger Lakes East titles and 2 Section 5 Class AA championships in his junior and senior year. Member of the first ever Section 5 basketball team at Mynderse Academy. The team's record over those 2 seasons was an impressive 39-5. His junior year was second team All-Wayne Finger Lakes East Division, senior year first team, and Section 5 Class AA tournament selection team, and the most valuable player in the section. Second team All-Greater Rochester. He ran cross country, was a top 10 finisher in championship races in his junior and senior year. Went on to SUNY Plattsburgh, had many fine opportunities to participate, become a strength and conditioning coach, to help the basketball teams in fitness clubs. This gentleman has a great amount of fortitude. He's been blessed with an even better super athlete in his wife. I couldn't help it, Joe, I'm sorry. But it is my pleasure to congratulate Mr. Joseph Porcelli, now a member of the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame.
It's my father's hat, and he did that 10 years. He was a Bronze Star recipient in Vietnam, and I wear this in his honor.
It starts in 4 minutes. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tony. Got this? Well, it's good seeing all you devils. Blue devils. You know, it's an honor, really. You know, Dad retired in 1969 from Romulus Army Depot. And in 1970, I moved to Seneca Falls. Dad grew up in Nickney. And so in 1970, I was the 7th grade at Seneca Falls, and I can remember Brock Field and going to the varsity game, watching them, and just the energy of the city and the athletes. And my first hero was Lou Barbie. He was like a fullback, and Bobby Nearpass. But Coach Nicholson I met in 1970. He was the 7th and 8th grade coach. I didn't even go out for the team because I couldn't make it. And then in 8th grade, I made the team, and I was the last guy on the team. And then my life changed freshman ball. They don't have that anymore. You didn't have to worry about an 8th grader or 10th grader. It was 9th grade. That's when I met Coach Novak. That was his first year. And then I went to JVs the next year, and he went up. And then him and Coach Nicholson were a good team. But the key really was Ken Jones basketball camp, and that's when I met Norm Law. It's 1970, and I met Norm Law and Ken Jones, and the Buffalo Braves were all there. Jack Ramsey, Bob Kaufman, Rod Berkey was my coach my senior year there. And Calvin Murphy even came to camp. A lot of you guys probably don't know that, but he's an all-time second leading scorer. And I'm playing one-on-one against Calvin Murphy. And again, our league at that time, we had 210 kids in our class. You know, so we were double A. We played Rochester teams. At that camp, we had Buffalo and Syracuse kids. And to be able to, you're as good as the people you play against. Gene Giovannini and Kevin Cabot, you cover them every day, you're going to get better. Like that Steve Nirpass. And I just respected Mynderse, the athletes, the students, the marching band, you know, even the cheerleading team. You got cut from cheering at the time, and they cried. And next year they went out for the team. You got cut in basketball, you played CYO, the Catholic Youth League, and the next year you made the team. So to have all that talent, but the guy that changed my life was Vinny Giglio. He played for Norm. He came back home, and I was 16, and Vinny was 26. And you went to the park, Fugger Park, on Saturday and Sunday, there'd be 125 people playing. Winter stayed on. And so that's when I first met Don Berkey at the time, too. He just got out of college and came to the park. Winter stayed on, so here I am, 16 years old, playing with 23-year-old men. That's how I got better. Vinny Giglio was my big brother. And I met Norm, went to Rockport for a year, because he went to him and Ken Jones, and I took the year off, and I went to Plattsburgh State. And I had my Hoosier moment with Norm. We were going over to play UVM, and we're crossing the Lake Champlain and the ferry, and the boat is wavy and everything, and everyone started puking on the boat, you know, the ferry, and it stunk, and I tried to hold on puking in my big bag like this, and we get over there, and we're laughing. We get to that, we clean up the bus, and we go in there, and we were so relaxed as a team. Again, they didn't have the shot clock back then, and they didn't have the three-point play. So anyway, we ended up beating UVM. You know, that was our Hoosier moment and everything like that. You know, that will never happen again. And that's because of the shot clock, you know. And I have to say, Matt Berkey was a great player and everything. And when Rob was my coach, I remember when he was 2 or 3 in the back there. So he grew up in that environment. But if we had the three-point play in the shot clock, I would have averaged 30 a game, Duncan Jensen would have averaged 22, Larry Ingles would have averaged 23, and Steve Nirpass would have doubled our average. You know, defense was better back then because you had to take the ball. Like that. So anyway, growing up in this town and everything like that, it's a winning town. You know, and it's, when you're with winners, you grow up a winner. And I thank you all.
Our next inductee has quite a fascinating story. Maggie Nichols Minardi was a proud member of the class of 1978. She flew under the radar as a great athlete in the 1970s. She excelled at cross country and track and field. She was the first female to be a member of the boys cross country team. She was undefeated in the 880-meter race during her junior year. She had an unheard of, at that time, an impressive 12 varsity letters in 5 different sports. 4 in track, 3 in basketball, 2 in cross country, 2 in volleyball, and 1 in soccer. She was a great athlete, but an even better person. Well-rounded, participated in many clubs, activities, and athletics during her high school years. She went on to Hartwick University, participated in 4 sports. She soon thereafter enlisted in the U.S. Army and quickly rose to leadership status. She promoted fitness with the platoons that she led, and she led by example. She completed a 5-minute mile while in fatigues and Army boots. She participated in the All-Army running team. She ran in events in the World Games in Egypt and Sudan. This award and recognition is being given posthumously to Maggie's husband and 3 children. Accepting for her tonight is her husband Steve and daughter Andrea. We would like to congratulate Maggie Nichols-Menardi, now a member of the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank everybody who's come up to me with stories of my mother. Stories I'd never hear because she had big shoes to fill, but she never made me feel like I needed to fill them. They would also be impossible to fill. I tried to be a runner just like her, and my fastest mile was a whole minute less than hers, but she was always so proud of me. And when she told me I grew up where the women's rights movement, we didn't live here. So when she told me, I grew up where the women's rights movement started, and I was the first girl to run cross country, which I ran as well. I couldn't fathom that they didn't have a girls' team. She had to run with boys. And in Converse sneakers, too, to boot. So I would just have to say thank all of you who've come up and shared those really special stories. I will hold them with me forever. Thank you.
I just wanted to kind of showcase a couple stories about Maggie's competitiveness. Sorry I had trouble walking up these steps here because I have several sports injuries from trying to keep up with her. I met Maggie at Seneca Army, that we were both in the Army, and so we worked together for a while, and then so she came up to me one morning getting off a midnight shift. She goes, "Hey, you want to go to breakfast?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay," and never had a girl ask me out. Before. So, in order to get off the depot, you had to, well, let me back up. She had a motorcycle. My car was broken down. So, the only way we can get off the post is on her motorcycle. Now, I didn't have a motorcycle. To get out of the post, you had to go through the gate guards and everything just to leave. And so I had to wear my Army helmet. And I'm hanging on the back of this little Honda 200 or whatever it was, and she buzzes up to Geneva, So that was the start of our relationship, and went on to last for 33 years. So part of Mag's competitiveness, like we went to give blood one time, and she's on the table next to me, and I'm over here, and they're putting the needles in their arms, and she looks over and goes, "Hey, I bet I can fill the bag up faster." I'm like, "All right, knock yourself out." She came home one day from going to garage sales, and she pulls out of the car a unicycle she found in the garage. I had no idea that when she was a kid she had a unicycle and rode a unicycle. So I thought she, was riding around in the driveway, and I thought, hey, she can do it, I can do it too, And I couldn't. And I was so frustrated because we were both competitive with each other that I called off from work the next day, and for 8 straight hours I tried to ride it, and I failed. Yeah. So when we were in Berlin, Germany, we had a rod and gun club, and had rifle ranges and all that stuff. And they would have a bowling pin shoot every once in a while. And so I asked her if she wanted to do it, and she said, yeah, of course. And so, of course, she wins the bowling pin shoot. I got like second, and but she only had 3 other girls to compete against, and I had like 40, but she still said she beat me. She got first place, you know, she wouldn't let me live it down. Yeah. So one other time, we're sitting around, she goes, hey, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know, what do you want to do? She goes, let's go skiing. I'm like, okay. I never wore skis, I never skied in my life. Grew up in Philadelphia as a city boy. And she was 4 months pregnant at the time. So on post, you can go to rec center and get skis and everything for free and discounted ski lifts. So we do all that, go up to Bristol Mountain and get on the chairlift. And we're going up. I said, we're going to stop at the bunny hill, you know, the first thing off, because I don't know how to ski. And so we get up there, and I didn't know you had to jump out of the chair, you know? So I bail out, and I fell, my skis came off and everything, and I look up, and she didn't jump. She kept going up to the mountain. So I didn't know where she was. I went down to the lodge, and I'm waiting for her to come down, So I finally get back on the lift, and I go halfway up, and I see out of the corner of my eye, there's someone walking down the side of the mountain with her skis. And it was Maggie. So that was kind of just a crazy story, being 4 months pregnant, you know. And it was really cold. Yeah. One of the other things that she always competed with was, in the Army, we had an Army physical fitness test we had to take every 6 months. And of course, we had different standards, male standards and female standards. Female standards were way too easy for Maggie. So she had to set out and max the male standards, you know, and that's how competitive she was. Yeah. So I want to thank everybody that's contacted me, and Bob, who has been really great with going through the whole process. I didn't know anything about this at all until a letter came in the mail, I don't know, 4 months ago or so, and I was going to throw it in the trash because it had Mynderse return address, and I'm thinking, you know, it's just like some kind of advertisement or whatever. And I opened it, and I just couldn't believe what I was reading, you know, and I quickly reached out to all the kids and everything. But so Maggie's resting in our National Cemetery, Veteran Cemetery in Rittman, Ohio, near where we live. And she's got her own little spot with her soldier honors, you know, and so it's really great. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Our next inductee graduated somewhere in the time of 2012. I was her principal. We won't go into some of those stories. Mainly because I couldn't, because she was constantly playing sports in the 7th grade at the varsity level, 8th grade at the varsity level, and all the way through high school in 2 to 3 sports. So she ended up with 14 varsity letters, captained all 3 sports. Obviously a very true student athlete, demonstrated academic and athletic excellence. Finger Lakes Central First Team All-League Honors, High School Athletic Association All-Star, Team MVP, Exceptional Senior Participant, James R. Amadon Award winner, Varsity Basketball 4-year starter, Finger Lakes West All-League, Section 5 Finger Lakes Player of the Week, Class B Section 5 Champion Team Member, Finger Lakes Fab 5 All-Star, Senior Exceptionals, Varsity Starter 5 years, Section 5 Class B Champion Team Member 4 years with a walk-off home run to boot, Section 5 Class B Most Valuable Player, New York State Class B 4th Team All-State Catcher, Girls Varsity Team Co-MVP, 2012 All-Greater Rochester, University of Pittsburgh at Greenberg softball team, starting catcher 2012 and 13, first team all conference. It goes on and on. I'll let her finish. So it's my pleasure to introduce one of my favorite students of all time. Congratulations to Abby Dygert. You are now a member of the Hall of Fame.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, as he said, my name is Abby Dygert. That's all. I am so very honored to have been selected by the Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame Committee as the 2025 inductee. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Tony Ferraro, Rod Berkey, and the rest of the committee for considering me. To my family, my husband, parents, siblings, my late grandma who would have loved to be here, uncles, aunts, nieces, nephews, and cousins, thank you for putting up with me and being here to support me tonight. Public speaking is not my forte. Put me behind home plate or on a court with women a foot taller than me or on a soccer field with like sleeting rain pelting me. I have nerves of steel. Or put me behind a microphone on stage and watch me tremble. My voice cracks, it may be nerves or it may be emotion or likely both, so bear with me as I stumble through this. 5 minutes, or however long I have up here, is not enough time to adequately express what those 5 years of playing varsity sports at Mynderse meant to me. 5 minutes is not enough time to thank everyone who helped me, inspired me, encouraged me, congratulated me, and yes, even those who booed me. Every single one meant something. Every single one made a difference in my life, and for that I am eternally grateful. My athletic journey began at the ripe old age of 4 in Little Kick. I wore my Little Kick jersey, which was actually just a yellow t-shirt, to bed before my very first organized kickball game. I wanted to be ready. I wore it to bed, and we were the Robins, and I wanted the Robins to be the best kickball team that Seneca Falls has ever seen. I'm sure at 4 I wasn't actually thinking that, but I'd like to think that I was. I can't remember if we won because they wouldn't even tell us the score. You know, it's one of those, if you had fun, you won. I hated that because what was the point? Winning was all I wanted to do. Winning was the reason we were there, right? If you had asked me, I'm sure that I would have said that we crushed it. Fast forward a year and I watched my sisters playing coach pitch softball, and since there were so many of the Dygert girls, it only made sense to add just one more to the roster. Subsequently, most of my childhood was spent playing up in a league of players older than I was, just so my parents didn't have yet another set of games to work into their already impossible schedule. And it wasn't in my DNA to just be a little kid playing on a big kid's team. I worked hard. If I wasn't on the field playing or practicing, I was home dribbling a basketball, kicking a soccer ball, or my favorite, throwing the ball up to myself and hitting it. And it wasn't any particular sport that drove me. If someone asked me to play, I would. One time in the midst of playing just sports all year round, indoor soccer in the winter, AAU basketball, ASA softball, Little League softball, summer rec soccer. I actually did ask my parents once if I could play hockey like my brother. Mind you, I didn't have much experience on the ice, but I was sure that I could do it. That ended up as a hard no. I had 5 siblings who all played sports, and according to my mom, it would be logistically impossible, so I reluctantly had to let that one go. You can read in my bio the accomplishments, awards, and recognitions for my years at Mynderse Academy. What you don't see or discern from this list is the countless people who contributed to my individual success. You'll note that I didn't run track, and I didn't wrestle, no swimming, diving, tennis, golf, or any other sports where there was a potential for more obvious individual achievements. I was blessed with coaches and teammates who were talented. There wouldn't have been successful throwdowns to second base or making the play at home plate without exceptional athletes there to field my throws and vice versa. In softball, our many victories were due in large part to the grueling determination of Coach Bertino and her insistence on conditioning. There wouldn't have been points, assists, or rebounds in basketball without everyone doing their job. nor the same for soccer. I wish I could name them all, however, through all those seasons, I had so many amazing athletes as friends and teammates, and I want to convey my heartfelt gratitude to them and the countless others who made it easier for me to succeed. Those relationships were priceless, both on and off the field. I can't point to any one game, season, or even year that stood out with more distinction than the other. The trip to the state finals in softball my senior year might rank slightly higher than the others, but every out, every base hit, RBI, home run, every hour, minute, second spent playing at Mynderse Academy was special to me. If Tony had told me that I could stay another year, but we wouldn't make it to sectionals in any of the sports, and I would have to play outfield instead of catcher, or that I would have to sit on the bench in basketball, or I would have to be goalie in soccer, which I did for a few games my junior year, and Coach Morin decided that that was not in the best interest of the team, I would have done it in a heartbeat. I do believe I asked him countless times if I could stay, and unfortunately it was the same answer as the hockey question. At the exceptional senior basketball game, the opposing team didn't have enough players to have a game, so I willingly played against my fellow friends and teammates. I don't really remember the outcome, I just wanted to play one last time. With 100% certainty, I can tell you that I left my heart on the diamond, the court, on the field at every single game. I promise I'm almost done. But before I close, I want to congratulate the tennis team for their Hall of Fame induction, as well as the others here tonight whose contributions to Mynderse Academy athletics earned them this same distinction. I'm sure your stories are similar to mine. You were doing what you loved. Sports was all I had and all I ever wanted for as far back as I can remember. Absolutely mind-blowing to me, the realization that there could be anything even remotely as satisfying in life as sports. And it wasn't until June 3rd of 2023, and then again March 10th of 2024, that I realized that there is something infinitely more rewarding than playing ball. To my husband Danny, my son Wes, who's crying, in the words of the Beatles, though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before, I know I'll often stop and think about them, but in my life, I love you more. Thank you all again for bestowing on me this honor that I will always treasure.
We're going to jump back about 20 some odd years to the class of '85, where this young lady was a three-sport athlete, varsity soccer, Section 5, Class AA championship team, Western Regional Titleist team, and Finger Lakes East championship team member. First team Finger Lakes All League honors, All Greater Rochester honorable mention, Finger Lakes East second team varsity softball, second base and shortstop. Junior year, Section 5 Class A champion team member. Senior year, Finger Lakes East League champion team member, Section 5 Class B runner-up. Finger Lakes East, honorable mention. Varsity basketball, 3 years starting forward, Section 5 championship team, and Section 5 all-tournament team member. Numerous Finger Lakes League awards. Girls Athletic Association member, received awards in recognition by her peers. Went to Slippery Rock University on a basketball scholarship. Then enlisted in the U.S. Air Force. Thank you for your service. Continued participation in athletics and received recognition, Woman of the Year in 1989. Lifelong athlete, continued participation in competitive softball. Now is a proud wife and mom, family proud of her accomplishments. Congratulations to Diane France Kazursit. How'd I do?
Like $10.
Now a member of the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame, Diane. What? Kazursa. No. Diane France. That's $20.
I'll say it right.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's Kazursit. Z is silent. All right. First of all, I want to thank the committee
for this prestigious honor of being inducted into Mynderse Academy's Athletic Hall of Fame. Excuse my voice, I'm losing it. I need to give credit where credit is due, though, to both my mom and dad, who were stellar athletes and passed these genes down to me and all my siblings, Debbie, Dougie, and Danny. My parents had 4 athletic kids in a 5-year span. I'm not sure what they were thinking. We were very competitive, and still are, and wanted to win at everything we did. I cherish the memories of us 4 running around Green Street in Port Byron, along with the neighborhood kids, playing pickup game after pickup game. This is really where I learned how to excel in sports, especially being a girl. It was difficult. I wanted to be better than the boys, which made me work hard, and carried on through my high school and adult life, not only in sports, my career, my life. Sorry, my voice is really going. We were fortunate to grow up right by a high school, so we had our own fields to play on. Well, it felt like they were ours. We kind of ruled the whole street and the high school. If we weren't there, we were in our backyard playing some sort of a game, a few made-up ones even. My brother Doug and I played one-on-one in everything you can imagine, I think because we were the middle children and closest in age. It would get heated. He was a jerk to me half the time. We would let Danny, the youngest, join our baseball games at like 3, but his outs did not count until they did. That did not last long. He proved he could hold his own with the older kids. It was a very different time back then. No technology, no social media. You went outside and just played until the street lights came on. I know all you guys can relate to that. Learn how to compete, how to be on a team, how to work hard. When I came to Mynderse Academy my freshman year, I already knew this was a sports-oriented high school, and they were good at everything. My sister was a year ahead of me, so I heard all of her stories. I was nervous at first, wondering, was I going to be good enough? It turns out I was. I was very fortunate to have a great group of teammates on all 4 teams here at Mynderse for all 4 years. Their competitiveness and passion for the game pushed me to succeed. Sorry, this page got cut off. I know the bus rides, Coach Nicholson and Coach Farrar can probably tell you, us girls were absolutely silly. We did the goofiest things, but I think it's a way to get us prepped for the competitive game that we were getting ready to play. When we got on the field, it was all business, and the win showed it. State championships, distinguished honors. What a great time to be a female playing sports in the 80s. And it was just plain fun. We look forward to each season, each game, each practice even. I remember being so mad during softball when a game or practice got canceled due to weather, like really mad, so mad. Like I wouldn't leave school. I'm like, are you sure we can't? And we'd have to go into the gym and hit balls. That sucked. It was not fun. I've watched my kids, my nieces play travel ball, and it's like a job to them. I feel like the fun of the sport is being taken away from these kids today. Again, very blessed to have grown up in the time that I did. I want to thank my 2 coaches, who are both here tonight. They taught me so much. Coach Nicholson with soccer and softball. He was my coach for both of those sports. He knew how to get results from me. Coach Farrar with basketball. He really knew how to get results from me. Lots of tough love there, right, Coach T? If any of you knew Mike back in the day, his nickname was T for a very specific reason. He fouled out, or he didn't foul out, he got kicked out of games a lot for technical fouls. So us girls actually had to, our junior, or his assistant coach had to help out, so he earned that nickname T. I spent the majority of my high school years with a basketball in my hand. It was my true love. Coach Farrar coached the freshman boys and let me go to their practices and shoot on the side of the gym that they were not at. He'd be down here, I'd be at another spot. I was very grateful for that because it just let me go and shoot and shoot and shoot. I did go off to college at Slippery Rock, like I said, on a basketball scholarship, but I only stayed 1 semester. I enrolled in community college in Auburn, but skipped all of my classes to play pickup basketball games with the guys every day in the gym. Told you I love basketball. Needless to say, I did not stay in college. I enlisted in the Air Force and was fortunate to be stationed at Travis Air Force Base in California for my permanent duty station. I played softball and basketball from my base and got to travel around the country playing in the Air Force tournaments. It was peacetime back then, so it was very nice that I got to do that. What a great experience. The 4 of us France kids all moved to Bradenton, Florida as adults, and I was very fortunate that the 4 of us got to play in the same softball teams together. Me and my sister on the girls' teams, and all 4 of us on co-ed teams. Our memories of those games, tournaments are indescribable, and a lot of my friends are here here today for that, from those teams as well from Florida. I want to thank my family and friends for attending this event. I look out in the crowd and I see many people who mean so much to me. My cousins from Texas and New York. My Uncle Brad, who I played rounds of basketball with growing up, and he still thinks he can outshoot me, but he knows it's not true. Michael Bob, my countless cousins, as I said, my friends from Florida, my high school friends, coaches, my brothers, Doug, Dan, their wives, Christy, Bridget, their kids, Jacob, Jillian, Carson, and I also have someone here from South Dakota. Most importantly, my husband Mick, our children, Mickey and Maddie, whom all three of them played a college sport. I'm the only one that didn't. Without all of you, I would not be where I am today and accepting this award, and I really thank you all. But I do have one story that I have to share. And all my friends know it. You know how in basketball you come out to songs, you know, my sister was always in charge of the great music that we came out to. We were always, you know, with the devil from Band because we were Blue Devils. Any AC/DC song, El De Novo, whatever it was, hard rock, right? We go to Victor, my senior year in high school, and we're all out there warming up, and they come out to their song, and they came out to Footloose. And we're all looking at each other going, what is this? You're supposed to come out to rock and roll, right? Well, needless to say, I followed out that game and we lost. So that movie and that song I'm not a big fan of it. So I told my best friend in the military about this song, so every time her and I would go out, she'd go up to the DJ and dedicate Footloose to me, just to see me go insane. And my friends still do it too. But anyhow, I really want to thank everybody and KAMA. Thank you.
The Hall of Fame Committee is thrilled to induct its next member. Matthew Nizzolio was a member of the class of 1972. Matt was an outstanding scholar athlete. He was noted for his work ethic, his mentorship, and his athletic skills. He was selected as the Mynderse Academy Athlete of the Year in 1972. Also received that year the Aldo Beattini Award. He was a member of the 1970 undefeated football team. Played offensive and defensive tackle. He was an all-Wayne Finger Lakes League selection. Co-captain during his senior year. He was an all-Wayne Finger Lakes League wrestling champion. 4-year defensive player on the lacrosse team. Well-rounded and epitomized a student athlete. He was a class officer, student council member, junior Rotarian, Boy State delegate, National Youth Leadership Council. Member of the Mynderse Academy Chorus for 4 years, received all-county chorus recognition. Was a member of the Cornell University lacrosse team. He went on to become a reporter and editor for the Finger Lakes Times, the Binghamton Sun, and the Hartford Courant. He received numerous journalism awards. He was active with running and music throughout his entire life. This Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame recognition is being bestowed posthumously for a well-deserving, great, and memorable student athlete, Matt Nizzolio. Accepting for Matt is his brother, Senator Michael Nizzolio. Please welcome him.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be with you today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a 1969 graduate of Mynderse Academy, a proud one. I served this community for 34 years in the New York State Legislature as an elected member. I was a New York State Assemblyman for 10 years and represented the Greater Finger Lakes region in the New York State Senate for 24. What a wonderful evening. Thank you to the Hall of Fame Committee for putting together such an enormous wealth of history and knowledge about our wonderful school. our alma mater, and our wonderful community. I counted in the last 75 minutes, we went through 70 years of history of our community, from the 1950s well into this decade. This has been often said, I say it at every Memorial Day, that memory is the most important form of honor. We honor by remembering those outstanding individuals who contribute, who have sacrificed for the greater good, and who helped make other lives better because of the way they lived their life. A special thanks to the committee. They were mentioned. They can be mentioned frequently and should be. Ted, Liz, Rod, Tony, John, Mike, Lisa, Jeff, Bob McKevney, and Bob Sullivan. Thank you for the wonderful job you are doing in keeping the history of our school and the history of our community alive and well. The Hall of Fame places in remembrance and honor recognizing these athletes, and it's humbling to hear their qualifications. And I congratulate all those who are recognized and remembered and honored here tonight, and for all those who have been past inducted in the Hall of Fame. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize my brother, Matt Nizzolio. At the outset, though, I wish to give special thanks to Coach John Nicholson. A few years ago, following an induction ceremony, unsolicited, John volunteered to nominate my late brother to the Hall of Fame. Coach Nicholson told me at the time he was always impressed by Matt's leadership and work ethic in practice and on the field. Matt was a leader throughout his life. As a youngster in the Seneca Falls Little League, he led in home runs, and I think it was Gene who told me today it was well over 25 in his final season. Years later, I often would cross paths with men throughout our region and beyond who grew up in Seneca Falls in the mid to late 1960s, and they would tell me how Matt was someone they admired and looked up to as they participated in youth sports. As Bob said, at Mynderse, Matt was a first-team all-conference football tackle in both his junior and senior years. He was a key player on the 1970 undefeated Mynderse football team. His junior year, and during his senior year, he was captain of the football team. Matt was an all-star wrestler for 3 seasons, and the late, great Coach Myers once told me that Matt was one of the best wrestlers he ever had. Matt was a 4-year standout on the lacrosse team as a defenseman. And in recognition of his athletic accomplishments, in 1972, Matt was named Athlete of the Year and received the prestigious Aldo Beattini Award. By every measure, Matt was an outstanding athlete, recognized leader, and admired by his teammates. But to me, Matt was my younger brother, my roommate for almost 2 decades in our home on 14 Elm Street in the 4th Ward of Seneca Falls, and was my best friend. Growing up, we would battle each other every day for years, playing backyard football, wiffle ball, ice hockey, boxing, and wrestling. At Mynderse, we were teammates for 1 season on the lacrosse team. When it came time for Matt to go to college, he was recruited by a number of schools, but I was very happy he chose to attend Cornell University. And we were both together there for his first 2 years in school. Certainly, I was very proud of my younger brother's athletic accomplishments, but there was so much more to admire about Matt. He was very intelligent and very kind. He was extremely creative, and he clearly thought outside the box. I want to leave one example with you tonight. I'll never forget. It exemplifies his creativity and intelligence. It happened during Matt's senior year at Mynderse, when a Syracuse television station invited Mynderse to compete in It's Academic, which was a weekly televised program that was like today's TV show, Jeopardy! Each episode was a competition among high school teams from throughout central New York. A group of Mynderse students were chosen by the school's faculty to audition for the show. The producers at the TV station would then conduct an audition and select 3 students among them that the producers believed would be the best suited for the television competition. Although Matt was not one of the students the faculty chose, he managed to wrangle a seat on the bus to Syracuse in his role as a reporter for the Mynderse microphone to chronicle this historic event for the school newspaper. At the TV station, Matt was allowed to sit in with the group. And during the audition, well, he was frequently there raising his hand and answered the majority of the audition questions correctly and faster than anyone else. And the producers, you know the rest of the story, based on his audition, well, he was one of the ones chosen. The only funnier story was, and none in the last 3 generations are going to remember this, but it was 100 years ago, it seems, and I was at Cornell at the time. The show aired at noon on Sunday, not necessarily at the best prime time, but it was a show that I wanted to see while I was a student. So I was frantically trying to find a TV. No one past under 50 is going to believe this, but it was true. I couldn't find a television set. My fraternity didn't even have a TV at the time. I certainly didn't at my apartment, but I went up and down College Town. I saw a bar open right at noon on Sunday. I ran in the bar, and there was a TV, and I asked the bartender if I could turn on the TV. He said, sure. So I turned on It's Academic, whatever the station was. The bartender says, you really want to watch this? I said, absolutely. My brother was on. It was a great show. I called my mother afterwards. She was still crying because she was so proud of him. From his earliest years, my brother loved music. And the Mynderse Academy course became a way he could express that interest. There's a great high school yearbook picture of the Mynderse Academy course with many members, or at least 50 students who were members at the time that Matt was. They were mostly girls. There were a few boys in the picture, but Matt was easy to recognize because he was in the center of the picture and the only person wearing a Mynderse Academy football jersey. Matt's interest in music followed him throughout his successful careers in journalism as a writer, newspaper editor, and eventually in corporate communications. But beginning in his 20s, and for the next 3 decades, Matt also became an award-winning bluegrass and country music artist. Matt deployed the same work ethic to music that he demonstrated in athletics. And that's so great about what all of us experienced in Mynderse athletics. Because if you could make it there on the fields and on the courts in Mynderse, you could make it anywhere. And that musician in Matt, he's self-taught, he became a skilled dobro player and mastered other musical instruments. He ultimately played professionally on recordings and performed with other artists and individually in concerts and festivals across the United States and Europe. I may be inaccurate, but I venture that Matt is likely to be the only Mynderse Academy 2-time all-conference football tackle, football team captain, champion heavyweight wrestler, 4-year varsity lacrosse defenseman, athlete of the year, who was also selected to be on the all-county course. And my mother and father were as proud of that as they were all the other accomplishments too. I wish Matt was here to enjoy this event. He would have loved it. His untimely passing in 2008 prevents that, but I'm sure he's here with us in spirit. Matt gave much to his teammates, to his classmates, and to his school. Our mom and dad were always very proud of him and would have been thrilled by this event. When Matt was selected to be Athlete of the Year, my father and he stood in the SMS and had their picture taken. That was in a weekend. On Monday when my dad went to work, and he was a second shift janitor at Gould's Pumps. As soon as he got to work, he got a call from the CEO staff who said, Mr. Tarnow, who was the CEO at the time, wants to see Albert, my dad. Well, Dad walked into Bob Tarnow's office and thought he might be in trouble for something, but he found out that Bob Tarnow wanted to congratulate him for this award that his son received. My dad never went to high school. He was an immigrant from Italy, and this was special to him. And what was special to me is that Seneca Falls And growing up here is the place where, yes, the CEO can personally congratulate a person working in their company. That's the community we grew up in. I wish it still exists. It does to some extent, but I hope that it's a lesson to all. That's what really the fabric, and Coach Law mentioned, it's the fabric of this community that's important. My thanks again to Coach Nicholson for putting Matt's name in nomination, to the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for honoring Matt. Congratulations to my little brother. This remembrance and honor are very well deserved. Thank you for listening.
At this time, I'd like the following to please come up to the front here. Don Verkey. Yeah. Jason Verkey. Matt Verkey. Andrew Verkey. Right down there is fine. As I'm sure most of you could probably figure out at the beginning of this event, I had to ad lib because I made a mistake. So at this time, don't sit down, Rod. At this time, the plaque that I originally had for you, I have now. In recognition of your vision, inspiration, initiative, leadership, and dedication towards the creation of the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame. Through your exceptional leadership, the Athletic Hall of Fame has grown and stands as a successful endeavor that honors and pays tribute to the Mynderse Academy graduates and student athletes. The Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame Committee and all its members sincerely thank you for all your hard work. We will take on your vision and continue honoring past, present, and future Mynderse Academy alumni and student athletes. Presented to Rod Verkey, October 12th, 2025. Thank you, and well deserved, Rod. You have no idea how much I appreciate all that you have done for this group and for our school. Okay, in 2014, they finally got tired of me, so I retired. But I went out with one of the best classes that Mynderse Academy ever had. And it's now my pleasure to bring the members of that girls' tennis team up to the stage for their well-deserved recognition. So ladies and parents and coaches, please come up here. Come on. As they come up, okay, Shannon. The coaches, under the tremendous tutelage of Coach Mike Merriam, who is represented this evening by his daughter, Shannon. Also with us tonight is Coach Garnsey, Coach Joe Jacuzzo. Also on that staff was unable to be here tonight, Coach Peter Perrine. The members of that team, Nitu Chandak Arnold, Mallory Clear, Grace Dobler, Samantha Felice, Audrey Gribno, Laura Jacuzzo, Aubrey Aparti, Courtney Scholes, Emily Sullivan, and Lexi Thompson. This team had tremendous success And I certainly in no way can speak for Coach Merriam. I'll let Gus do that. But being there and watching not only great athletic competition, but the team spirit that they had, the dedication, the work ethic. Everybody knows girls softball or girls tennis now is in the fall, but these ladies played year round. Even though some of them played other sports, they were playing indoor in the wintertime, and even when it was cold out on the courts. This team achieved tremendous success, yes, in athletics, and obviously also, as you may or may not know, academically. They have gone on to be unbelievable contributors to this country, and I think and I hope that Mynderse Academy had something to do with it. So at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Coach Gus Garnsey to speak on behalf of this group.
Good evening. I think I speak for all of us as new Coach Merriam that we wish he was here for this induction. I want to thank the selection committee, to the parents who traveled and supported the team, to Joe and Pete for preparing the girls for varsity. The returning members of the 2012 team showed up in the impressive August heat for practice with the goal of winning one further match. They lost to the Crown the previous year to Wellsville. That goal was immediately embraced by the new team members. With a strong starting lineup and Mallory Clear, Courtney Scholes, and Lexi Thompson ready to step in when needed, the wins started to come. Palmac, Naples, HAC, and Marcus Whitman, the team that always brought out our best. Sectionals came around, we're #1 seed. Mike turns the practice over to me and goes out to scout our most likely opponents. The next day, he shows up, hands the team a short write-up of their opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Armed with this information, the team makes the finals. Mynderse versus North Rose at Geneva, the final match of sectionals. After much discussion between Mike and I, we decided that North Rose can't make any lineup changes. It's going to make a difference in the outcome. We were right. The matches start. Emily Sullivan at second singles, Sam Felice at third singles. Cruz to straight set wins. Abria Gribnow and Nitu Arnold at first doubles also win the straight sets, handing their opponents their first loss of the season. Abria Partee and Grace Dobler needed 3 sets to clinch their win. At first singles, Laura Jacuzzo dropped the first set in a marathon. And with darkness setting in, we go to try to turn on the lights. Find out it costs 25 cents to have the lights on for a set period of time. So we're trying to collect quarters to keep everything going. Now, with enough quarters to keep the lights continued, Laura goes out for the second set with a determined, almost mean look and wins the second set and another marathon. Now, with everyone except the first singles done, all concerned agree to play a tiebreaker for the final set. Laura prevails, a sweep for the team. Finger Lakes West champions, Section 5 Class Double C champions. We also have Section 5 Class C doubles champion Nitu and Laura, who defeated runner-ups Sam and Emily, both qualified as New York State qualifiers. And I present the 2013 15-0 Section 5 Double C champions.
We're gonna do this at the end. Okay. You want me to leave then? No. You want me to talk? I just do what I'm told, as you can tell. It's like being home. Another night, another year. Thank you to the committee. You have no idea how many meetings that we put together and try to come up with all of the different selections, formats, etc. But it's a great committee to be with. It's a great group of people, and they're dedicated, and I so much appreciate it. The individual inductees, once the team is done, please don't leave, because we would like to get a total group photo of all of you. If you leave, you'll be in serious trouble. Ted will chase you down. Congratulations to all the 2025 members of the Mynderse Academy Athletic Hall of Fame. I thank you for joining us tonight. Remember to support the Hall of Fame and consider making nominations for future inductees. Thank you everyone for your indulgence in being here, and we are going to show, we're going to sing, no, he's going to sing. So everyone please stand for the alma mater. You girls better know it.
I got it right here. I'm going to sing it live.
It's on the back of the program if you'd like to join in singing. Ted. Appreciate it very much. Congratulations to not only a great team, but to a great bunch of young ladies. Shannon, thank you very much for being here in honor of your dad. We so much miss him, not only as a coach and a committee member, but a wonderful human being.
I got two.
Joe, did you want to say a couple words? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Ladies, we're going to take your photo first, and then the Hall of Fame members, we're going to figure out a way to take your picture.